So a bunch of stuff came out today, and I'm gonna see if I can cram it all into this video. We have a new trailer for Ahsoka, a trailer for what appears to be a Willy Wonka prequel called Wonka, and the teaser for the next Godzilla movie coming out in Japan. It's called Godzilla Minus One. It's coming out December 1st, 2023 in Japan. I wanted to give my thoughts on these three things here real quick on this video. First of all, Godzilla Minus One. This is going to be another reboot for the Godzilla franchise. It does not tie into Shin Gojira or the other ones, presumably. It's like a new story, and it looks like it takes place right after World War II. So I'm guessing that this will also not be a sequel to the original Godzilla. If you remember, two of the reboot franchises for Godzilla basically ignored everything but the first movie. I think this one's actually going to ignore the first movie and just do what Shin Godzilla did, which is start over again. But there's one small scene, one tiny scene of Godzilla roaring, and it looks phenomenal. It's more of a Legendary Pictures style of Godzilla versus the Shin Gojira with the big jaw and everything. But it looks great. I mean, it looks great only based on the teaser. Japan's going to do their damnedest not to make a bad Godzilla film. But I wonder where it's going to go. I wonder if they're telling us that in this one, Gojira is going to be the monster, the force of nature that Japan has to deal with, or if there will be other monsters for him to fight. There's many different ways for them to go with this. I was kind of hoping for a Shin Gojira sequel, but part of me honestly thinks that it might be best not to even do a sequel. I'm not going to spoil the ending. Those of you who have seen the ending of Shin Godzilla, you know what I'm talking about, but it's almost scarier and more ominous if they just leave it the way it is. You know what I mean? Just leave it the way it is, because it's definitely a thought-provoking ending and one that gets people talking. So there is that. Now, the Wonka film. The Wonka film is interesting because it's going to be a prequel written and directed by Paul King. Wait, did he write it? I know he's the director, but I'm not sure if he wrote it. Let me make sure. He wrote the story, so it is his story. And it basically explains how he eventually became Willy Wonka. Now, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, it's a childhood favorite. I'm not a big fan of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, the Tim Burton version. But this movie, for somebody like me, it feels like it's skippable and maybe something that might be worth watching with family around the holidays on Disney Plus. It gives off that vibe of like, let's stream it on Disney Plus. You know, it doesn't feel like a film that I really want to go see in theaters, but it does look very magical. It looks like a fun family time, and Willy Wonka, the original film, is a classic, so I could see like the appeal. But for somebody like me, I'm just not sure if I'm actually rushing to go see it. Now, again, I'm not saying it's bad or I don't care. There's so many other movies and so many other things to do that I'm not sure if it's worth like me really getting too invested in this. Wonka's played by Timothy Hal Chalamet, who pretty much was known as the lead character from Dune. He's been in other movies too. He was in Call Me By Your Name, and he was in a movie called Lady Bird. But here he's playing Wonka, and based on the trailer, you know, his attitude definitely comes off like that. Now, again, this movie, same people that made Paddington. And that, to me, not just that, but also Sally Hawkins is in this movie playing the mother, and so is Rowan Atkinson, a.k.a. Mr. Bean. So there are appealing things. I actually would consider this maybe, because of the whole, you know, Paddington connection, that might be the one thing that gets me in the theater, because I love those movies. I love Paddington 1 and Paddington 2. And 3 is coming out. So that could be it. But again, it's not on my top list of, you know, I must see this. You know what I mean? Now, Ahsoka, very interesting. That new trailer went over not necessarily anything that's too new. It hypes up Thrawn. We actually see Thrawn's face for the first time. They should have saved that for the show, I think. And Ahsoka is running around trying to reunite the rebels from Star Wars Rebels. And like I said before, it's probably best to watch that show before you watch this, because it looks like there's a lot of references to it, including the fact that Sabine in this trailer, they imply and they actually show her Mandalorian armor and she puts it on. So how will this tie into the Mandalorian show? Will it? I think it will. I think we'll see Sabine in season 4 of The Mandalorian. I'm calling it right now. I think they're doing it on purpose. I think that for the fans who have not seen Rebels, seeing her in a Mandalorian outfit is going to feel familiar. So I'm going to go ahead and just say that right now. The lightsaber battles look fun. It does kind of give me some prequel vibes. Not in a bad way, though. Not the bad part of the prequels. More so like the lightsaber action part. And seeing, Ahsoka fight, always a treat, in my opinion. There's a couple of very intriguing things about the trailer. First of all, there's like this sort of Stonehenge area, right, that the Dark Jedi seem to be a part of. Now, I'm not sure if that's going to tie into Exegol or some other kind of ancient, Sith, Jedi, Dark Jedi Force, region or something. I don't know. It's intriguing, though. It's intriguing. I've talked before about how much I love Star Wars lore, and even though I obviously appreciate things, like The Mandalorian, things like that, and the underworld of Star Wars, Jedi and Sith lore is really what I love about it. Things from the distant past, artifacts, things like that, make it fun. And that perked up my eyes. Also, I loved how they had that mural with the rebels on it, and you see basically the cartoon version of Ezra. That was super clever. That I wasn't expecting that, and that was a real treat for fans of the Rebels show. I'm going to go ahead and make a prediction that we are going to see him in a lightsaber duel. I think he will be fighting here. I think a lot of fans of that show want to see where he's been, how powerful he's gotten, what he's discovered. To me, that's one of the more intriguing aspects. It does feel like a big reunion of characters. It does feel like it's a payoff for those who watched Rebels. Obviously, looks can be deceiving because the trailer does look good, and the trailer is going to have Dave Filoni. I mean, Dave Filoni's fingerprints are all over this show. This is his show, and because of that, he's going to probably do a great job of satisfying fans of Clone Wars, Rebels, and even of old school Star Wars, and even the new ones too. I can see that. But like I said, looks can be deceiving because sometimes these trailers come out and they look great, and then the show itself winds up not really being so great. I think in this case, we have a higher probability of it being great only because Filoni's involved as opposed to him not being involved at all. So I'm looking forward to it, but I'm still cautious because Disney Star Wars has tons of problems and you know how that goes. But still, I trust Filoni. In Filoni, we trust. And until he gives me a reason not to, especially when it comes to the writing of Ahsoka, his favorite character, yeah, it's tough for me to bury him at all until we see the show. Hopefully this will be the best. I mean, it has the potential to be the best Disney Plus Star Wars show they've ever done. Hopefully they'll hit that. Let's see. But anyways, crazy time today. Crazy time. Lots of stuff going on. What do you think? Let me know. Take care.